What's going on out there, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? Welcome on in to Settling the Kingdom here out of our makeshift Buffoons podcast studio here today. We're looking forward to Chiefs and Bears preseason week one. Obviously, we tried to go up to training camp last week, got rained out. I made my way back up there to get to see some good footage out there and put that up on our YouTube page. Check that out if you have not yet. But Tanner, what are you looking forward to the most? Who are you looking forward to watching today here as the game kicks off in about 20 minutes?
Yeah, so I kind of talked about it roughly on Let's Talk Sports today. If you didn't check out that previous video we did, fabulous time with JG and Dan. But I'm looking at the secondary. I'm looking at the secondary. There's going to be a lot of different battles coming into play. And exactly who's playing special teams. Special teams is a key. We lost, 6 out of our main 7 guys that played special team snaps. The only returning major guy is Noah Gray. So there's going to be a lot there between the receivers and also the defensive backs. I could see them keep 6 or 7 defensive backs, honestly, and same with 6 receivers, just due to the fact that we lost so many special teams guys.
Yeah, that's a good point because as well, if you look at the receiving group right now, we have the addition of Sky Moore, Marquez Valdez-Scantling. These are guys that are not going to play a ton of special teams other than Moore will play some punt returner this season. So as far as those guys that replace like a Marcus Kemp, I mean, you're looking at opportunities for Darius Fountain to step up. He was someone in preseason last year. A lot of fans liked him quite a bit. So if the Chiefs do carry 6 receivers, which I don't know if they will or not, then these are the opportunities that are going to have to step up for some of these guys on the team. I know whenever I was up at camp, everyone's talking about Isaiah Pacheco. So that guy has been looking very good so far. He is the the Dexter McCluster of training camp, if you will. The training camp darling. Everyone loves him. I want to see it put now onto the field because obviously at Rutgers had plenty of playing time, played all 4 years.
Yep.
And now he's in the pros, in the NFL. He reminds me a little bit of a running style of Niall Davis. That was something that my dad and I actually talked about just recently. And I could see a little bit of that with him. I'm hoping he has better vision than Niall Davis did with the Chiefs. But Tanner, what are you looking forward to as far as watching some of this backfield unveil itself?
Right. So you just said Isaiah is going to be has a chance to put a lot of pressure on the other running backs in the play. Clyde is safe. I think we all agree on that. Clyde's going to make it no matter what. But I think what we're looking at is Isaiah putting pressure on Ronald Jones making the team and also McKinnon making the team. I think Gore is going to stay either way. I'm not too concerned about that. But I think those two guys have a lot of chance. There's going to be a lot of pressure put into play if Isaiah performs the way he's supposed to. Ronald Jones was working with the threes the other day.
Yep.
So I don't know what that all means, but we're going to see here in the next preseason game. I said on Let's Talk Sports earlier, it's a big 2 games for Isaiah. If he can make anything with some kind of flash or anything like that happen during these preseason games, that put Ronald Jones' job into jeopardy.
I'm surprised you have Derek Gore actually making the roster, Tanner, considering at the moment he is 5th on the depth chart from the running back position.
I think Reed likes this guy. So
he might. I would just say as well, McKinnon, though, being 30 years old, and the injury history is something to play into account here.
Yep.
Ronald Jones, though, is getting pushed down just because of, I think, some of the emergence and what we've seen of Pacheco throughout the training camp. Clyde should be the guy from day one, but Pacheco is going to be a part of this offense, and Patrick Mahomes has also had good things to say about him as well. So we have a new number 10 on offense that we're now going to forget all about, Mr. Tyreek Hill.
Yeah. Hopefully all good things happen for him.
Right.
Quarterback, we're not concerned about. Running back, there's a lot of things to watch for. Tight end room has a lot of talent in there. Noah Gray, Jordy Fortune's back. I think he's going to play today. And then Blake Bell's in the play. Who else am I missing? I'm missing somebody else.
I mean, you got Noah Gray, of course, who you mentioned a minute ago.
Yeah.
Those are going to be the main guys you see today. I think Noah Gray, this is going to be his season to hopefully get more playing time from the receiving position. So I'm looking forward to seeing if he can really emerge a little bit more. We saw last year the guy he's from Duke, came out as a receiving threat tight end, and we want to see if he can do a little more underneath because Travis Kelce's not going to play much today. So we need some other guys to stand out.
So we got a couple comments here real quick. Carlos, thanks for watching. I always appreciate having you on. It says Chiefs is being loaded at running backs. It's not a bad situation. It's been a while since we've been loaded at running back, honestly. So that is something to really like.
Exactly. And in Reed's offense, he likes to mix up guys. He doesn't have just one primary back usually. He likes to mix it up, especially since he's been with the Chiefs.
And I know we haven't done Selling the Kingdom in a while, but guys, Kareem Hunt is not returning to the Chiefs. Yep. Squash this. Get rid of it out of your minds. It's not happening. This is settling with the kingdom. I'm settling you right now. It's not happening. This is a dream for some fans, but we're past it.
Well, everyone wants the redemption for Kareem Hunt to come back and, right all the wrongs. And I mean, obviously, he's in a situation in Cleveland where he's split in the backfield with Nick Chubb. He's just not happy. He's not happy. He's never going to be happy, honestly. So I think the Chiefs are in a situation right now where they're fine with where they're at. We don't need to go trading draft picks to acquire Kareem Hunt.
No, we don't.
And, running backs are a dime a dozen in a lot of ways. So he was a great thing for us for a couple of years. That's awesome. But we just got to move on.
We're past it. We're past it, I believe. So
Tanner, looking at the rookies here, just moving on to this. So we have obviously a plethora of rookies to look at in this preseason week 1. Who are you looking forward to the most?
Well, our big guy, the guy that's going to hit everybody.
Right, Leo Chenal.
We know that has to be the one, right?
Leo Chenal, of course.
So I'll throw it back at Cook, secondary safety.
Oh, man.
That's a guy I'm going to be looking for. What kind of player is he going to be? What kind of opportunities is he going to take advantage of today? Are we going to see some hits? Are we going to see an interception? Or how does he play? So I think Cook's going to be the other guy for me.
Stopping the run is going to be a big thing. Obviously, he was the number 1 run defender in the NCAA this past year, and he's been just an animal absolutely on the field. If you guys haven't seen the highlight video on our channel, check that out. I had a fun time putting that together with a little wage war background music to go along with it.
So let me ask you this real quick on Cook for you personally. Is this going to be an Eric Berry type of player that this guy could make that kind of impact, stop the run, be involved with more the nickel package, getting down there, nickel package, stuff like that?
That's a lot to ask for. What I'm hoping for, if anything, is a better coverage Bernard Pollard. I'll put it that way because he's going to come down and lay the hammer. That's something Bernard Pollard was well known for, was being a big hitter. But he was not always great in coverage. I'm hoping that Brian Cook can fix some of those problems that we saw in the past. Eric Berry, though, I mean, that's a generational type of talent. And, as far as talent goes itself, I don't know if we're going to have another guy quite to that par for quite a while. Justin Reed, though, kicking a 65-yard field goal in training camp. I don't know if Eric Berry could have ever done that. So Justin Reed, though, has the athletic ability to be in position to be making plays like Eric Berry once did.
All right, a couple comments real quick. Carlos says Hunt is better fit for the Titans. You know what? If Henry has an injury, you might as well go for him. Yep. And then Carlos says Chiefs can step up on defense even more. That helps to balance out the – it does. If the Chiefs can get the ball into the hands of Patrick Mahomes more and more every single game, that's huge. That's huge for the Chiefs, and that's huge for the kind of division, the AFC in general that we're in.
So as far as making stops, now we're talking about defense, Tanner. Yeah. Look at the emergence of Frank Clark now this offseason, how he cut out drinking alcohol, lost a lot of weight, just looks thin in the face even, and he's also been working with George Carloftus every single training camp after practice. So that's awesome. The guy's motivated, and he obviously has a will to want to get another contract after this one's over. He took a big pay cut to stick around with the team, which is awesome. And it seems like he's really coming true and becoming a more veteran presence on this team.
I think he's becoming more of what we were wanting in the first place, right? Exactly. The kind of player.
What we paid for originally.
And I think he sees this team. He sees them trying to invest back into it, and he goes, wow, a lot of teams don't do this, trying to get in the talent. So, I think he's stepping up.
I mean, there was a time period, I think, this offseason where if Andy Reid hadn't spoken to him and he didn't make the proper adjustments, he was going to be released from this team. The dead cat be damned. Yep. It didn't matter. I think that he was dead weight at that point, but he proved himself, and especially just helping some of these young guys too has been awesome to see. So George Karloftis, though, I mean, what are you expecting today from him?
I expect a few QB pressures at least. If he may not get his first sack or anything, but give me some signs. Give me some signs that you're able to get into the backfield. That's what I want to see.
And he's going to get a lot of playing time today, too, because as you guys know, if you watch the Chiefs now for a long time, they rotate in and out defensive linemen all the time throughout a game. So they don't play like a full 90% of the snaps. So Karloftis is a guy that obviously we want to see him get a lot of work in today, get used to rushing against pro-style left tackles and right tackles, and to see what comes up from there. I expect him to get some pressures, of course, I hope. But more than anything, I just want to see the technique in there.
So this defensive line, again, we're talking about different depths as wide receiver and cornerbacks. This defensive line could actually see a lot more people kept this year as well. Defensive tackle, you got Colin Saunders, who's been injury prone the whole entire time he's been here, unfortunately. Tershawn Wharton, Chris Jones coming into play, and now Dunlap.
Right, Carlos Dunlap, which I don't think we're going to see much of him today at all.
No,
I don't think. 33-year-old veteran.
I don't think
He's
you're
good.
gonna see
He's
him.
had his preseason moments, and he's over that one.
But there's also Malik Herring, who's also performed really well in training camp. But that's a guy that can also move out to the edge, like Tyshawn, or like Wharton.
Tershawn
Wharton. So this is there's a chance that we may only keep 3 true defensive tackles in this play, but that could also still leave room for Wharton and Herring and some of those other guys to be able to kept as a defensive end.
Well, you got to remember though, we got Danny Shelton now on the team too.
Yeah, that's right. Shelton.
Adding in Danny Shelton was awesome as far as run defense goes.
I think that's your tackles, right?
Right.
Almost.
Danny Shelton should be in on every rundown.
Yes.
I mean, you got Chris Jones, Danny Shelton in there. Derek Nottie can be worked in, of course. But then in the pass rush situations, then you can have your Wardens come in, guys like that. So I'm curious to see what we end up doing today as far as rotating in and out from the defensive line position, because a lot of these guys can play multiple spots.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see exactly how the line shuffled as well. And so you see opportunities these guys get around the way. Kendo could get some time today. And that's a guy last year that has some raw talent, but can he put it all together? Well, here's his opportunity.
One linebacker to watch today is Mike Rose. He was an undrafted free agent, and I think he's actually one of those guys that can sneak under the radar and end up making this team if things fall his way. He actually had a lot of tackles this last year in college, and he's kind of a Leo Chenal light. Obviously not as big of a hitter, but you'll see him playing a ton of snaps today for the defense.
Yeah, linebacking core, I'm not really looking for anybody specific. I kind of just want to see what happens, essentially, with these young guys. There's not a lot of depth there. Jermichael Carter could be another guy.
Yeah, Jermaine Carter coming over from Carolina Panthers.
I don't want to say
But Elijah Lee, is this surprising you, Tanner? A lifelong special teamer is now starting for this roster at the moment. He's number 1 on the linebacking depth chart.
No, I'm not surprised at all. I think this is a guy that will make an impact for the Chiefs. It's his opportunity, and he's the only one that can blow it at this point. The Chiefs like him. The Chiefs like where he's at. He's a vet guy, been around for a little bit, so he has some knowledge. But he's the only one that can blow it, and that's preseason games.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised. I mean, obviously he's a hometown K-State boy, so there's a lot of K-State fans out there. If you've watched Elijah Lee, you're probably excited to see this. So, hey, I think it's awesome, though. I'm hoping he can really fulfill himself here on this team and this roster. Obviously, the Chiefs play a lot of nickels, so I don't know how much he's going to be on the field necessarily. But yeah, I'm surprised he's currently over Leo Chenal on the depth chart.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't think they're going to start Leo right away or anything. So I'm not concerned about it by any means. Chenal, like I said before, Chenal is going to get a lot of playing time, whether it's preseason or a regular season game. He's going to be on the field at some point. It just may not be number 1 on the depth chart for a while. Right. I would say mid to late season.
Right, I get you. Well, Tanner, we all know the Chiefs are going to win today, but we're not worried about that. Who's your MVP of today's game? Who's going to stand out?
MVP today's game. I didn't even thought about that.
I mean, it's probably going to be a guy in the 3rd or 4th quarter that breaks out and gets the most touches, most volume, or some kind of thing. Is it going to be a receiver? Could it be Sky Moore, maybe?
I don't think it'd be a Sky. I think it should be, but it probably won't be.
I'm going to go Derek Gore. I think Derek Gore ends up being this week 1 MVP because he's going to get a lot of touches.
I'm going McDuffie.
Trent McDuffie. Ooh.
Trent McDuffie with a pick today.
Ooh, if he goes out with a pick or a pick 6, then he's got to be MVP of the game.
Yeah. So. I'm going I was going to go Gore because I was thinking running backs, but you know what? I'm going to go McDuffie.
Gotcha. All right, well, guys, the game kicks off here in about 6 minutes.
Right. Real quick here, finish the comment. So Carlos had Chiefs 4th rounder making news. Williams, yes. Williams is actually looking really well. I'm excited to see what he does as well.
Absolutely.
Especially with all the playing time he's going to get. Carlos also says Chiefs have depth considering the change. We really do. We lost a lot of key pieces, but they really rebuilt into that depth, and it's going to be tough to keep a lot of these guys. And then Mr. AC, hey, Mr. AC, thanks for tuning in. Have we heard updates about the condition of Soldier Field? Great point. This is what I heard today. Carlos Santos, former Chief, doesn't talk bad about anything. He says this field condition was awful all week long. It's always bad. This is a big concern. We got our starters going out in the first quarter coming to play. If that field condition has not helped at all, that means we could see weird injuries like a sprained ankle, and I mean,
here's the thing.
Not the worst.
Here's the thing: the Chiefs starters on offense are going to play about 1 series, 2 at the absolute most. If we go down, score a touchdown right at the gate, Mahomes is out, Kelsey's out. I mean, we're not worried. That's all done with. We can move on to the second string. So basically, if the conditions are as bad as we're hearing, then we'll be moving on to our second and third string.
Yeah, but it's still a concern. Concern for depth and everything.
Absolutely.
We're in an NFL stadium.
Chicago didn't care because they know that they're imploding over there. So for them, the field conditions are the least of their worries.
Management's just trying not to have anybody else request trades over there besides field conditions.
Exactly.
Let's see here. Bermuda grass is necessary, man. Anything to help with that situation over there. We don't want injuries. We saw what happened in the Rams when Reggie Bush pretty much had a career-ending injury with that, not with the field, but with the whole general stadium. So it's just really unfortunate.
They've been notorious for having bad field conditions there in Chicago. So let's just hope for no injuries. We saw good news for Zach Wilson. Obviously, it's just a bone bruise in his knee, so it's not a torn ACL. So good for Jets fans out there.
Good for Jets.
We all wish well for every player. Obviously, no injuries because we want the Chiefs to go out there and whoop them at their healthiest. So.
All right, guys, we have it here. Before we end it here, make sure you guys like, subscribe, follow us. Always appreciate it. Make sure you go over to Let's Talk Sports and do the same thing. And if you're on Let's Talk Sports, head over to the Buffoons. We're going to be live again here. We're going to be talking all season Chiefs, especially on Settling the Kingdom. But
and we'll be on Twitter throughout the game too. So give us a follow on there, and we'll be tweeting along throughout the game.
Yep. So guys, make sure you tune us on Twitter. We just hit 1,000 followers, so thank you everybody. We appreciate it. That's so awesome. We're so pumped for it. So, all right, guys.
Yep.
We're out. Go Chiefs.
See you next time.